What if the story of Naruto wasn't quite what we thought it was? What if, nestled in the same tragedy that shaped Sasuke Uchiha, another life had been spared? Another heartbeat left by the massacre. Another pair of eyes marked by crimson tomoe. This is the story of Saiaka Uchiha, a character who never existed in the original tale, but whose presence might have changed everything. From the fate of the Uchiha clan to the Fourth Great Ninja War, from the soul of Sasuke himself to the legacy of Konoha. This is a vision of the shinobi world reimagined. This is What If Sasuke Uchiha Had a Sister? Chapter 1: The Forgotten Uchiha. To begin, we have to go back to the days before the massacre, before the world of shinobi was ripped apart by betrayal and blood. In this alternate timeline, Saiaka Uchiha is born 2 years after Sasuke. She's the youngest child of Fugaku and Mikoto, raised in the same home filled with expectations, silence, and the weight of the clan's legacy. From a young age, Saiaka is way different. Where Sasuke seeks recognition from their father, he's training hard, trying to impress with kunai techniques and chakra control. Saiaka, on the other hand, is quieter, more introspective. She observes, she listens, she doesn't speak unless there's something worth saying. She spends hours wandering the Uchiha districts alone, watching the koi fish in the ponds, sketching in notebooks, or sitting in silence beside her brother Itachi whenever he returns from a mission. There's something about her gaze, distance, thoughtful, that makes even the elders stop and notice her. Fugaku rarely acknowledges her, not out of malice, but because she reminds him too much of Itachi, a quiet genius, a potential defector from the Uchiha path of vengeance. He wanted strength, not subtlety. Mikoto, however, adores Saiaka. In her daughter, she sees balance, someone capable of love, clarity, and reason, someone who might one day mend the gap between the clan and the village. But Mikoto also knows, in a world of war, empathy is a dangerous trait. Sayaka's talent lies in genjutsu. By age 7, she can cast illusions strong enough to trick even mid-level Chunin. Her age affinity leans towards water and lightning, and her Sharingan, once awakened, shows signs of subtle power rather than brute force, an ability to manipulate perception itself. But she hides most of this, because Sayaka knows, even as a child, that being an Uchiha is a double-edged sword. That strength draws eyes, and in a clan teetering on the edge of rebellion, being seen can be fatal. Chapter 2: The Night of the Massacre. And then it happens. The night that defines everything. The night when the Uchiha clan, proud, powerful, and cursed, is brought to its knees. Itachi moves through the compound like a ghost. One by one, fathers, mothers, and children fall. Sasuke is spared, yes, but he is not alone this time. In this timeline, Saiaka is also left alive. Now, how she survives depends on which variation you prefer. In this version, Saiaka is hidden by Itachi, the elder brother's love too strong to extinguish both his younger siblings. He seals her in a barrier, a genjutsu cocoon hidden in a forest training ground, with a whispered apology. Live, Saiaka. Find your own truth. In the second version, Saiaka is out training alone, seeking space from the heavy air of the compound. When she returns, the smell of blood greets her. The silence is unbearable. She stumbles through the smoke, sees shadows fall, and finally sees Itachi standing above her parents. He looks at her, eyes filled not with hate, but with grief. And then he vanishes into the night. She's frozen, trembling. She calls out to Sasuke, but he's already unconscious, overwhelmed by pain and trauma. Saiaka doesn't scream, she doesn't cry, she simply remembers. And from that moment on, Saiaka carries a secret that Sasuke never had, the knowledge that Itachi cried the night he killed their family. And this is the version we're gonna go for moving forward with the story. Chapter 3: Academy Years. After the massacre, Saiaka and Sasuke are taken in by the village elders. They're placed in a modest apartment on the edge of Konoha, and their lives begin anew, haunted by what was lost but still breathing. Sasuke becomes what we remember, cold, focused, and hungry for vengeance. But Saiaka, she turns inward. She doesn't seek strength, she seeks answers. At the academy, she is quiet, even more so than Sasuke, but her skills are undeniable. Her precision in chakra control, her insights into battle strategy, her genjutsu technique, they put her in the top 5 students every term. But unlike Sasuke, she never wants to stand out. She prefers to read alone at lunch. She observes Naruto, chaotic, loud, and lonely, and sees in him something familiar, a desperate need to be seen. One day, when Naruto fails to make a cloning class and the others laugh, Saiaka walks over, silent as always, and simply hands him a note. On it are chakra diagrams and breathing techniques. No words, no judgment, just help. It's the beginning of an unlikely friendship. Saiaka is assigned to Team 8, alongside Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame under the guidance of Kurenai Yuhi, a genjutsu master who quickly recognizes Sayaka's potential. Their team becomes one of stealth, tracking, and intelligence gathering. While Team 7 is brash and high risk, Team 8 is surgical, quiet, lethal, and precise. But despite their success, something gnaws at Saiaka. Every night, she dreams of Itachi, not as a killer though, but as a brother. She remembers his soft voice, the way he used to carry her on her shoulders, the pain in his eyes the night everything changed. She wants to believe there's a reason behind it all. She just doesn't know what it is. Chapter 4. The Chunin Exams and the Forest of Death. The Chunin Exams, a major turning point for every genin. In this alternate timeline, Saiaka enters alongside her teammates Hinata and Shino. Though their strength lies in Rekken and Genjutsu, they've been rigorously trained under Kurenai to survive hostile situation, and the Forest of Death proves it. This time, things play out differently. When Orochimaru appears to test Sasuke's power and curse his destiny, he doesn't anticipate Saiaka stepping in. From the shadows, she unleashes a genjutsu that temporarily blinds him, not powerful enough to stop him, but clever enough to interrupt his assault. Her technique isn't flashy, it's layered and subtle, like strings spilling behind the curtain of reality. Orochimaru smirks. Another Uchiha? This forest is full of surprises. Before he can pursue her, Anko arrives and Orochimaru slithers away. Later in the preliminaries, Saiaka is matched against a high-speed taijutsu user, maybe someone like Kiba. Everyone assumes she'll be overwhelmed, but Saiaka doesn't fight with speed or strength. She casts a genjutsu so delicate that her opponent doesn't even realize he's trapped. He's throwing punches in the air, thinking that he's hearing applause when no one's cheering, and stumbles to the ground, convinced he's won, before passing out. The crowd watches in silence, and for the first time, people begin whispering, maybe she's stronger than Sasuke. Chapter 5. Breaking Bonds. The fallout of the Chunin exam hits hard. Sasuke is cursed, Orochimaru's temptation grows, and Itachi returns to the village for a brief, chilling confrontation. But here's the change. This time, Saiaka is watching. She sees Itachi beat Sasuke. She sees the horror on her brother's face, but more importantly, she sees the conflict in Itachi's eyes, the pain hidden behind the cruelty. Later, she approaches Sasuke. They stand on a rooftop beneath the setting sun. The air between them feels heavier than usual. Saiaka says, I saw the way he looked at you. That was not hate, that was guilt. Sasuke, you don't know anything. He killed them. He killed her mother or father. Saiaka, and he cried when he did. You remember that, don't you? Sasuke says, shut up. He doesn't deny it. He never has. When Sasuke eventually leaves the village with the Sound 4, it's not just Naruto who chases after him. Saiaka is there too. Not to bring him back with force though, but to beg him to stay. In the woods before the Valley of the End, she finds him first. Saiaka says, Don't do this. Whatever power you're looking for, it won't fix you. Sasuke says, you're weak, Saiaka. That's why you don't understand. Saiaka says, no, I understand more than you think. I just refuse to lose myself in it. Sasuke says, then get out of my way. They clash, a brief, desperate exchange, but in the end, he leaves. Not because she failed, but because he was already too far gone. Chapter 6, The Truth About Itachi. After Sasuke's defection, Saiaka changes. She hardens, she trains with Kakashi and Kurenai relentlessly, combining lightning style with high-level genjutsu to create deceptive, devastating hybrid attacks. But she also begins looking into the root and into Danzo, because Saiaka can't stop wondering, why did Itachi really do it? While Naruto trains with Jiraiya, Saiaka goes underground. She uncovers classified documents. She follows whispers from the Land of Fire's underworld. Eventually, she infiltrates an old root facility and finds evidence that Itachi's mission was sanctioned. Danzo, the elders, the Hokage's council, they all knew. Saiaka left devastated, and for the first time in years, she cries. Itachi wasn't just a murderer, he was a martyr. She swears that one day she'll make the truth known, not for revenge, but for redemption, for all the Uchihas erased from history. Chapter 7, Akatsuki's Shadow. Saiaka now has a new goal: stop the Akatsuki before their plans unfold. She begins moving through the fringes of the shinobi world, intercepting missions, assassinating rogue shinobi, and passing intelligence to Tsunade through encrypted scrolls. Eventually, she crosses paths with Itachi. They meet in a field of white lilies. Saiaka says, I know the truth now. Itachi, then you know why it must remain buried. Saiaka says, you could have trusted us. You could have trusted me. Itachi says, if I had, would you have survived? Their battle is emotional, not violent, and when they part, Itachi places his hand on her shoulder and says softly, protect him, even if he hates you. Saiaka returns to Konoha and begins preparing for what's to come, the fourth great ninja war. Chapter 8, The War and the End. When the war begins, Saiaka fights alongside the allied shinobi forces as a recon captain and strategist. She's the one who uncovers the truth about the White Zetsu clones, and she exposes Madara's manipulation of the battlefield using illusion-based misinformation. During the final arc, Saiaka faces Sasuke again, but now colder, more distant, twisted by power. This time, she doesn't plead. Saiaka says, you were always chasing something you would fix. You were always chasing something you thought would fix the hole in your heart. But the truth is, it's never coming from power. Sasuke says, you're still just a shadow in my story. Saiaka says, no, I'm a part of you tried to bury. They fight, fierce, emotionally charged. But ultimately, Naruto stops Sasuke, just like before. And when the dust settles, Saiaka stands among the survivors. Not broken, but rebuilt. Final chapter, The Legacy of Saiaka Uchiha. After the war, Saiaka doesn't become Hokage. She doesn't wander the world. Instead, she builds the Uchiha Archive, a living memorial filled with scrolls, memories, and full, unfiltered truth about the clan's story. She opens it to everyone, Lee villagers, allies, former enemies, anyone who wants to understand how pride, power, and silence led to genocide. She teaches a new generation of shinobi not just how to fight, but how to forgive. Sasuke eventually visits her. They don't speak much, but before he leaves again, he says, you didn't save me, but you made sure I had something to return to. And Saiaka, now older, much wiser, watches the next generation train outside her window and wonders if, just maybe, this time, the future will be different. So, what if Sasuke Uchiha had a sister? Maybe the massacre would still happen. Maybe the war would still rage, but somewhere in the darkness, there would be one more voice, not louder, not stronger, but clearer. Someone who carried the truth instead of the sword. Let me know your thoughts in a comment below. Would Saiaka have been able to stop Sasuke? Would she and Naruto make a stronger team? And do you want to see her in Boruto? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more deep dives and what if scenarios. See you in the next one. Peace.